Yo, what's up? My name is Patrouski, and everything I'm about to say is just my opinion and not financial advice. Sometimes I'm right, and sometimes I am wrong on PokeMMO market predictions, and any choice that you make to invest into things is fully at your own risk. I'm just here to state my own thought process behind my own decisions. This list will also be ranked in no order. It's just 10 investments that I will be personally looking to make during this Halloween event in the year 2024 within PokeMMO. But with that disclaimer out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into my top 10 Halloween investments. Number 1 is going to be one of the vanities you see me wearing right here, the Flaming Demon Skull and the Blue Flaming Demon Skull. I'm including both of these items in the same slot since they're so very similar, but both very interesting for their own reasons, and they do kind of have different trajectories in my opinion. I do want to quickly say that RP items are the toughest vanities to call within the history of Pokemon in my personal opinion. Both these vanities are achieved by buying them for 2000 RP in the premium gift shop within PokeMMO. RP vanities are always so difficult to predict because when they are too over the top and amazing and exciting, similar to these vanities, everybody goes crazy and invests into them, cranking up the supply and the price goes nowhere. Examples of this can be things like the Giant Turtle Shell, which is a Blastoise style vanity, or the Poisonous Flower Top Hat, which is a Venusaur type vanity. Both of these cost around 4 mil at the time of their release, and now are down to around 1 to 2 mil. But then, since people see that happen sometimes people don't invest in those vanities when it seems too obvious. And then the price goes up because they were cool and not enough people bought them to meet the supply. Examples of this include things like the Lucky Dragon mounts. These were also around 4 mil or so. And now the Lucky Red Dragon mount is up to 10 to 11 million Pokeyen when you could have bought it for only 4 mil only 8 months ago. That's a 150% price increase within an 8-month period. That's a ridiculous return on investment. But then you have a third scenario, another situation where the vanity is ignored because it's seen as not very cool or not very exciting at the time and is ignored for other things happening within the game or event. The perfect example for this is the Unity capes in PokeMMO. These capes were almost completely ignored due to the hype from the release of Shaman, the first mythical Pokemon in PokeMMO. It was only many months later that people realized it was a pretty unique looking cape and worked well with a lot of outfits. Once again, this vanity was around 4 to 5 million Pokeyen on release and then has been cranked up to 30 to 40 depending on which color. All of these possibilities make predicting the future of RP items very difficult. I do believe the Flaming Skull masks are in the camp of being so cool that they push through all of the supply being brought in, but it's also worth noting I've seen way more people with blue masks than the orange one. Now, I personally prefer the orange one, so maybe I'm a little biased in saying this, but to me, that shows there might be a shortage of the supply of the orange Flaming Skulls once they leave the gift shop, very similar to the Lucky Red Dragon mount, where a lot of people bought the gold. Or it's also possible that the high demand of the Blue Flaming Skull is just going to push past that supply anyway, resulting in either or the orange or the blue resulting in a higher price. I'm personally going to be betting on the orange, but I will aim to pick up at least one of both of them. It's also difficult for the average player to quote-unquote invest in an item that costs over 5 million Pokeyen per unit. 2000 RP is not cheap. And one quick last note that if you're looking for if you want to be someone who actually invests in the item, sometimes it's cheaper to buy them with RP, sometimes it's just cheaper to buy them outright. Flaming Demon Skull, it's going to cost you 2 of those 1000 RP vouchers. However, if you want to be an investor, you probably want to bring in less supply of that item into the game. So buying the item outright off the GTL, kind of, just one per time you buy it, but if you invest in a couple of them, that can really factor in. When there's only 64 of these things on the GTL, do you really want to buy the RP and then buy and bring another one to the game, or do you want someone else to have that RP and possibly use it on things like shiny charms or other items? A very small little minute detail to maybe factor in, but maybe just buying the item outright is going to limit the supply a little more if you're investing into them. Which is why I'm going to go ahead and just do this and buy the item outright, even though it might be a little cheaper, 50k or so, to go ahead and pick up the 1000 RPs. Next up, the second item I want to talk about is the Blue Flaming Motorcycle. Now, this investment is unlike anything else on this list because it is a seasonal gift shop vanity, which means that it is a short-term investment only, meaning that if you buy them now, make sure to only hold them for around 4 to 8 months and then sell. You might make some decent returns, maybe 1 to 2 million Pokeyen per unit when they cost around 4 million Pokeyen per each. I always tell people to exercise extreme caution when investing in seasonal vanities. However, this is this vanity's first time ever being offered as a seasonal vanity, so I feel like there will be people over the next year or so who missed out on it who want it. This is an investment that you don't want to dump a ton of Pokeyen into. It's more of a diversified thing. Pick up a few, sell in a few months, and hopefully make some decently easy short-term Pokeyen. This is, of course, also assuming the price goes up. The odds of it going down are pretty low considering it's tied to the value of RP, and whether it goes up or not is tied to how much people are willing to overpay to complete their outfits. If someone is just patient and then waits until next Halloween, you're not really going to be able to make much Pokeyen off of people buying these. They'd rather just save the time and money. But honestly, my bet is that there will be a fair amount of people who didn't play the Halloween event, who end up falling in love with the blue flaming demon skull and want to complete their outfit with the blue flaming motorcycle to match. The question is, are they willing to overpay 2 million Pokeyen to complete the combo outside of event season? I think probably yes, and I think it's historically been shown with the flaming motorcycle last event season. But please, if I haven't been clear enough, keep in mind this vanity will return every single year during Halloween. So if you don't sell it by next August, you're risking to nullify all of your profits. Next up, number 3 on my list is the Ghostly Candle. The Ghostly Candle is a 60,000 Pokeyen vanity that looks like a 2 million Pokeyen vanity from around a few years ago. Maybe I'm still just in the boomer PokeMMO mindset and need to adapt to the new era, but this vanity feels way too cheap based on its current price, and the risk is so low while it's at this price. It having access to extra animations and lighting effects and just the detail put into it, I feel like really shines above its current price point. Number 4 on this list is the Shovel. Another limited time event only vanity exclusive to Halloween 2024, similar to the Ghostly Candle, achieved via opening up either the goodie bags or pumpkin goodie bags. The Shovel is a simple yet sleek dark vanity where I've seen multiple similar vanities reach around a couple 100,000 Pokeyen in price, where this one is obviously currently at around 65k, which seems too cheap to me. It's really giving Red Oni mask vibes to me. I don't know if that's a perfect exact comparison, obviously, one being a mask and one being a back slot. I think they actually go quite well together. And I will say a lot of people seem to be investing / speculating into the Shovel vanity, and it's something that could be extremely good for the price of it or extremely bad, creating a bubble, just something to keep in mind. Next up, number 5 on this list, finally moving off of actual vanities, let's jump into Mysterious Dust Balls. Now, it's important to note that Mysterious Balls have been some of the best investments I myself and many other PokeMMO players have ever made within PokeMMO. As soon as this item released, I told everybody this might be one of the best investments ever in the history of PokeMMO, and thankfully, I was very correct on that call. A lot of people making hundreds and hundreds of percents on top of their investments. I tried to encourage as many people as possible to invest into these items, and a lot of people spent around 20 million into them and got around 60 to 80 million out of them, making themselves much, much richer. Now, I will say, Mysterious Dust Balls are probably one of the worst Mysterious Balls, I think arguably the worst Mysterious Ball that I've seen, at a 1 out of 6,000 base shiny rate in comparison to 1 out of 8,000 for Pokeball, or 1 out of 4,000 for Mysterious Great Balls, which they almost line up price-wise with. So they're a 1 out of 6k shiny rate versus at Mysterious Dust Balls at 36,000 Pokeyen a piece right now, versus Great Balls being at around 30k or so. These are underlisted. Actually, those are 2022. Just kidding. Don't get baited like I almost did. So Mysterious Great Balls are actually at around 50k or so right now, base price. So they're almost comparable. Obviously, Great Balls are a fair bit, more expensive, but it's a 2,000 lower shiny rate, which is the whole reason you're buying these. Unfortunately, the only notable rare spawn that I've seen pulled from these Mysterious Dust Balls is Umbreon. Other Pokemon species include the Pokemon seen on screen right now. Some other vaguely notable ones include things like Cofagrigus, Larvitar, and Crocodile. These are the rarer shinies dropped from these aside from Umbreon, but even these are like all 3 times Horde shunts or times 5 Hordes with 20/80 splits. Umbreon is the only true rare shiny from these pools and from this loot table, but it's also sad that Umbreon isn't even unique to these Mysterious Dust Balls. Umbreons and other evolutions also exist in Great Balls and Ultra Balls. I feel like for these Mysterious Dust Balls to stand out, I was really hoping for them to have some sort of unique rare shiny like a Spiritomb. And we are only 6 days or so into the event. It's possible that there's something inside of them that I haven't seen yet been pulled, but this is the information we have thus far. Now, it's important to note you do also have a chance of opening level 100 competitive Pokemon from the Mysterious Dust Balls that are EV trained and kind of ready to go, similar to Mysterious Cherish Balls. The data here, someone opened around 45 of them and did end up getting like 3 or so level 100s, which is honestly not bad at all, given only 45 opens. Also, a quick shout out to Floyu in my Discord for even posting his pulls on the Mysterious Dust Balls. Data like this is invaluable to the community. It allows for videos like this to be possible, so thank you so much for posting that there. But anyways, back to my Mysterious Cherish Ball analogy / comparison. You do get level 100 comps that are EV trained, which is similar to Mysterious Cherish Balls. And then also, all of the Pokemon you receive from the Mysterious Balls do have hidden ability access, which is extremely worth noting, which is also similar to Mysterious Cherish Balls. And Mysterious Cherish Balls were one of my most misjudged investments in PokeMMO history. I didn't invest into them and lost out on a ton of profit because of that. And now that I'm drawing this comparison so abruptly, I initially thought that Mysterious Dust Balls were not that good and arguably not worth investing into, but in the script of writing this video, I convinced myself otherwise and immediately went out buying over 100 Mysterious Dust Balls on the GTL. It's crazy how powerful writing out your thoughts can be. I wasn't even going to include this item onto the list, but I think that's all very important information to include. Next up is going to be goodie bags and pumpkin goodie bags, which you can specifically search for the current year one of by going over to the advanced search options on the item slot over here and then searching up the item. If you just look up pumpkin goodie bag and sort by lowest price, you'll see a lot of 2023 ones, which you really want to avoid. Now, I am usually part of the normal goodie bag gang, but this year, I'm actually more interested in the pumpkin goodie bags. The price of the pumpkin goodie bags being around 40 to 50k or so, in comparison to the price of the Shadow Cape, aka the ultra rare vanity from this event being at over 10 million Pokeyen, is absolutely wild to me when things like the golden anniversary chests in relation to their ultra rare, golden anniversary chests are usually around 100 to 120k, and then the psychic training helmet, the ultra rare in that vanity or in the sealed product, is around 1 million Pokeyen. Obviously, these are different pull rates in different events, so they're not fully comparable, but I think it's close enough to where you get my point. Usually when someone is buying old sealed product, they're either buying it to reinvest into it further, or they're buying it to gamble and sort of try to risk opening up a big product. So when you can buy the pumpkin goodie bags and gamble them away and have that chance at a 10 mil vanity, that's a pretty damn good return. However, gambling is bad and you will lose in the long run, so I vehemently recommend you don't do it. Number 7 is going to be previous year's sealed product. That's going to piggyback off of number 6. Investing into old sealed product like anniversary chest during a hype new event like this can be very fruitful. Even looking at previous year's goodie bags or Xmas presents or maybe red envelopes, all of this can be super abusable as people are dumping old products to panic invest into new ones, which is a fool's errand, which I always recommend not to do. Now, it can be okay to just sell off some of your old vanities if it's time, if you've held them for enough years, if you have the nice return on them. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever sell off investments. I've actually been selling off a few of my Pumpkin 2022 vanities since I've made a really nice return on them. But just make sure not to undercut or underlist the value you should be getting out of them just to get that cash quickly to make new investments. I feel like at that point you're missing out on too much of the value, which is why anniversary chests have been really tanked right now, and I'm picking up some myself because I think it's a good time to abuse those people panic selling. I will say when it comes to investing into old sealed product, I strongly encourage you to avoid Halloween 2023 products. These were historically the worst performing sealed product of all time, gaining almost no Pokeyen in value over a full year's time, which is unheard of prior to this year. And it's partially or majorly due to the fact that the PokeMMO developers' time and resources weren't focused on these holiday events that year. They were more focused on releasing the Johto region plus legendaries back in 2023. So the development cycle for the Halloween events of 2023 was very strange. And we saw a lot of IOU type content like the Wishing Stone, which still doesn't have a use to this day. Next up, number 8 on my list is already picking up some gained value, up around 200k or so since the writing of this script a few hours ago. Number 8 is the Spooky Beanie. This is probably the biggest sleeper pick on this list in my opinion. Yes, it is a seasonal vanity. So yes, it will return every year for the next upcoming Halloween event, but this is the first year it's been introduced and you have to get it by turning in over 140 swarm Pokemon to the teacher and her kids NPCs over by the Pumpkin Boss cities. 140 swarm Pokemon is a solid grind that will take you a few hours of efficient farming, and there are only 52 Spooky Beanies even on the GTL at the time of recording, which for reference is less than half of the supply of the quote-unquote ultra rare vanity. Plus, it is a mega Pokemon vanity, which is something you don't see very much of in PokeMMO since we don't even have mega Pokemon yet. Next up, number 9 is the Kitsune mask, similar to the Spooky Beanie with it being a seasonal vanity, so you might want to sell it within the next 4 to 8 months. It's also actually gained around 1 to 200,000 Pokeyen value over the last few hours since the writing of the script. Now, the Kitsune mask may not be as difficult to get as the Spooky Beanie, but it's also not as easy as other seasonal vanities are. It usually takes the average player around 1 to 2 hours to get from completing the Pumpcat treasure hunt, which requires all 5 regions. I think this is the kind of vanity that can gather a large fandom for and fanbase for as well. Kitsune just translates to fox in Japanese and is often referenced in anime and other Asian cultures, and the moral of that story is to never underestimate the spending power of weebs. And then finally, number 10 on this list is going to be 2012 Pokemon. You can search for 2012 Pokemon by going over to the advanced search and heading down to the catch year and then ticking that up to 2012. And I will be the first to admit that this is definitely more of a personal pick, and I don't recommend 2012 Pokemon as investments as much anymore because the sales have slowed down dramatically for the average player. Hilariously, there's a 2012 Flareon listed from around 17 minutes ago for 1 million Pokeyen, and I can't find a single other 2012 evolution on the GTL. I'm talking all of them from Eevee to Jolteon to Vaporeon to absolutely everything. I haven't found a single other one, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up, honestly. Making investments live during an investment video, that's what we call content. But back to 2012 Pokemon, if you are someone like myself who are interested in preserving these gems of PokeMMO history and want to maybe make some money along the way, then I recommend looking into picking up some of your favorite 2012 Pokemon. It's honestly just a miracle that any of these Pokemon survived through all of the breeding changes, through Pokemon being consumed, through people quitting the game, from people being banned to the game, from the game only being released in 2012 for around 6 months or so. There are not that many of these Pokemon left in the wild. If you go on the GTL and search for 2012 Pokemon, you can actually see there's only around 149 listings. There's a lot of people dumping their quote-unquote secondary investments, things like 2012 Pokemon, during exciting new events like this, during the Halloween 2024 event to pick up the exciting new stuff, and you want to take advantage of people panic selling, and I encourage you not to panic sell. Now, for one last quick bonus talking point, I at least wanted to mention the Shadow Cape since it is an ultra rare vanity, and a lot of people are very interested in it. I think it's quite cool, and we've seen a lot of other capes similarly have pretty insane price jumps in the past, but my main concern is just the quantity on the GTL, being 128 listings only 5 or 6 days into the event. This tells me that a lot of people are opening pumpkin goodie bags because gambling is really fun, and many people are playing and participating in the event, and not as many people may be as interested in the cape as we think. But maybe this will be looked back at as a terrible mistake, and I'll go on to regret it for the rest of my PokeMMO career. I just personally don't believe the Shadow Cape is really worth this much Pokeyen when there's this many of them on the GTL, and I honestly think the price will continue to fall somewhere around 2 to 4 mil. You have to always make investments at your own risk. Anybody claiming to be 100% certain that this is the thing that will make you a billionaire very quickly in any market, any video game, whether it's real life, whatever, always be aware of stuff like that. It's usually a scam, and overconfidence is not a good sign in markets. I always try to qualify, I always try to hedge my bets, and I hope you guys can do your due diligence and understand where I'm coming from, and so many of you do, which requires a lot of effort, and I really, really appreciate that. At the end of the day, I hope this video was entertaining, I hope it was helpful, I hope it gave you some history and education, and sort of informative, extra information to add to your decision making when making your own Halloween investments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like the video if you did, it means the world to me. I put a lot of effort actually into scripting this, shockingly. I just got really invested into it. It was pretty fun and interesting. Subscribe if you want to see PokeMMO videos every single day. You can also follow me on Twitch for streams, usually Monday through Friday at around 12 p.m. ET. Discord is down below if you're interested in joining a cool community. Plus, there are so many event callouts during event season in that Discord. And if you want to go above and beyond and support my channel, support my content, if it's helped you out your Pokemon, helped throughout your Pokemon journey, maybe helped you make some Pokeyen, helped you make some investments, going above and beyond, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal/Venmo donations, all of you guys who go above and beyond and do that, you're the only reason I can even be here in the first place. So just one last thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing Halloween event. This has easily been the best event, in my opinion, in PokeMMO history. Have a blast, have fun, play some games, and good luck. Hey, what's up? Patrouski here, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching until the very end of the video. That means the world to me, and if your name is listed here, that means you went above and beyond and supported the channel financially, which allows me to even be here and have the time to do this. So thank you so very much. The question becomes, are they willing to overpay 2 million Pokemon